Hello, this is Wmpyr. I got an interesting message from Mr. Marty Noir. So, yeah, thank you, bro, for this question. I'll do my best to try to answer it. So, he basically says, how about self-defense with an unusually cumbersome item? Let's say like a guitar. Now, I don't have a guitar, but yeah, I think I get what you mean. So that's the quickest object that you could grab in a sudden situation. So the first thing to understand is what your system that you practice, what is it designed for and what it's not designed for. So with Escrima, that's the main style that I practice. So Kali, Escrima, Arnis. And in that, it's primarily a one-handed weapon is what we do. Okay, it has to be one-handed. So a long sword, right, like a bastard sword, that's not going to work because that's a two-handed. A katana sword, typical katana sword, is two-handed. So none of those would qualify, right? So we're talking about something that could be wielded comfortably with one hand. So that's why we could do two-handed stuff, right? But, I get your question, right? So just because, that's what I train for, if that's not what I have, but let's say something like this is like the only thing available, right? Then what do? Obviously, I'm not going to go, well, I can't use this, so no. No, I'm going to use whatever I can, right? So this thing, I'm not going to be doing the angles of attack to create a flail. It's just not possible, all right? For me, this is way too heavy. So the way that I would treat something like this would be more like an object, okay? So let's say the bad guy has a knife, and I want the distance, but even better is to have distance and have something in between us, like a car, a table, a telephone pole, right? So that's an object. So I would use this more like an object to have in between us rather than me use this as a weapon necessarily. So this is more like if I picked up a chair, or a small table, and I'm using that more like a shield, right? An inactive shield, so then it starts to become closer to like armor. So I hold it more closer to me, and just small, quick movements. I'm not doing big old flails. It's just not possible. So I would use it more like that in that sense. Let's say it was more pointy, like an umbrella or something. Then maybe I would use the point sticking out as like a really long spike or something, or maybe if I am determined to use an umbrella like a stick because it's thin, I could choke up on it and hold it more closer to the middle, and that way then it starts to feel more like an Escrima stick, the way you would do with like a hammer or a tomahawk, where if you hold it conventional, it's just way too heavy to wield that. But if you start holding it closer towards the middle or even past that, it becomes a lot lighter, and now you could do Escrima type movements. So yeah, I would do that with a guitar, because that was your original question. So with a guitar, maybe I would use the body of the guitar more like a armor, to protect the body. And the neck of the guitar, I could use more of just that as kind of like a sticking out, spiky type of thing. Here's an interesting story. It's a tragic story, and yeah, I'm not smiling to laugh at it. I admire this octopus. A student of mine had this aquarium, saltwater aquarium, very nice aquarium. And he had an octopus in there, and then there was a moray, I think it was a moray eel in there too, and he didn't know that they hated each other, like they're gonna fight. And so they started fighting, and we didn't know. We didn't know. When we came back, we like left, had lunch or something, came back. The octopus had shielded itself with the small crustaceans. So the small what do you call those guys? They have small shells, right? And the little crab guys inside. So it apparently the octopus eats those guys. So it used the shell and put it on it. So it was way in the octopus was way in the corner, and it made itself like into this small ball, and then it had these shells, like 3 or 4 shells on its body, like freaking spikes, armored spikes. And we were like, man, that's really clever. And at that point, we should have separated the two. Like we were just like, oh, he's so smart, he's gonna be fine, is what we thought. Eventually the eel got through. So yeah, that's very unfortunate, but that is the genius of nature right there. So anyway, yeah, I would start thinking in terms like that. So like the defense bag that I teach you guys, the diamond defense, what I recommend is 4 fists length, right? 3 and 4. So about that length is what I recommend. My belt bag is bigger than normal, and that's like 3 fists length, and that's super hard because you got to be mega accurate. But when it gets bigger than that, so we're talking about like a full-blown backpack, I'd rather just use it as a shield rather than trying to think of, doing stuff with it, So that's something that you might want to start thinking about. So that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.